Good evening, everyone. Like to have you, thank you for coming to the OVA annual meeting. And we're going to start off with the secretary's report. Everyone's had a chance to look at that. Any questions? We get a motion to approve. Second. All those in favor? Secretary's report. Al is not here tonight. He gave me some figures for the treasurer's report. Very quickly, checking account, $7,271.21. Robert Smith Fund, $22,549.31. Money market savings, $3,101.96. So could I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Thank you. Cindy Cott, OBPA.
Welcome to my hot place.
Welcome to the beautiful, cool Osterville Village Library. Okay, so it's my first year as OBPA chair. So let me give you a quick update. Our focus has been on both the immediate and long-term supporting the local businesses, enhancing the beauty and vitality of the village, and strengthening our signature traditions and building a strong OBPA for the future. OBPA now represents approximately 143 businesses and organizations and gives us a strong foundation which to grow. We're trying to increase membership, equally important, increase membership participation in the coming year. Our largest initiative so far has been the development with the OVA of the OstervilleVillage.com website. If you haven't been there, that's going to be your place for everything Osterville. The two entities are combined and all the information is there, all the recordings. Visitors, businesses alike, expanded OBPA member listing, direct business links, community calendar, village news, information, and kind of about shopping, professional services, boating, biking, how to complain to the police department about speeding or anything like that. There's all links. We continue to invest in the village with the appearance. We put up 14 new flags this year and some lighting of the trees in the middle of the village. And we're working on new garbage receptacles with decorations. And we hope next year to increase the number of flags. We'd really like to have them go from the fire station down to here and down and all around. We're working to, continue to grow the traditions such as Fall Fest and Village Day and the Christmas Stroll. We're already working on great things with that and trying to get more of the businesses involved. And we are all volunteers, so we have a really good steering committee, and I'm very grateful for everybody's help. And if anybody would like to join on and help, we always love it. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I'm very pleased to introduce Deputy Chief Michael Rogers from the COMM Fire Department, who will be our guest speaker tonight. He will give a presentation and then take any questions from those in the attendance. Please give Michael a warm round of applause.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Osterville Village Association and the Osterville Library for inviting me to be here this evening. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to speak with you about a matter that is important not only to the Central Osterville Marston Mills Fire Department, but also to the men and women who serve this community and to the families who support them. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michael Rogers. I have the privilege of serving as a Deputy Fire Chief for the Central Osterville Marston Mills Fire Department. I'm especially proud to say that I'm a 15th generation Cape Codder. I grew up in Centerville. I attended our local schools and graduated from Barnesville High School. To have spent my childhood here and now have the opportunity to serve the same community at this level is something I do not take for granted. There's a special sense of responsibility that comes with protecting the neighborhoods you grew up in, went to school, raised a family, and built lifelong friendships. I joined COMM Fire in 2005 after working in an entirely different customer service profession. Thank you to Chief John Farrington. Over the past 21 years, I've had the opportunity to serve in this department in many capacities, as a firefighter, a lieutenant, a labor leader, an administrator, and perhaps most importantly for tonight's discussion, as a member and leader of our peer support team. Before I specifically talk about peer support, I think it's important to acknowledge the people who have supported me throughout my career. My wife, Leah, and I have been we've been married for 28 years. Leah is a lifelong local and is known by many people throughout Osterville. Our children, Jeremy and Emily, have also grown up along my side throughout my fire service career. They have experienced the late night calls, the long shifts, the interrupted holidays, missed family events, and the uncertainty that comes with having a firefighter in the family. For more than 28 years, Leah has been my greatest source of support, encouragement, and stability. Jeremy and Emily have provided that same love and understanding. I can say without hesitation that I would not be in this position today if it wasn't for them. Their support has allowed me to dedicate myself to this profession while never losing sight of what matters most, and that's my family. And that is something that is an important part of the peer support discussion. Firefighters do not operate in a vacuum. The effects of this profession extend beyond the fire station and into our homes. Our families often see things that we may not recognize ourselves. They see the long days, the difficult calls, and sometimes the emotional impact that comes home with us. This is why having a strong support system at home, at the firehouse, and within the community is so important. Our department in our community, as many of you know, we recently began an important hiring initiative that will add 16 new firefighters to our department. We have already hired the first 4, and I'm confident they will become tremendous assets to our existing membership. Adding personnel is more than simply increasing our staffing numbers. It allows us to strengthen our organization, improve our ability to respond to emergencies, and continue providing the level of service that this community deserves. With that growth comes responsibility. Our leadership team regularly meets to evaluate our operations, policies, procedures, and staffing needs so that we can maintain service while continuing to improve how we serve our community. We also recently celebrated an important milestone, 100 years of service. I want to once again thank the Osterville Library for hosting such a wonderful and well-attended centennial celebration. The turnout was a tremendous reminder of the relationship between this department and the community we serve. We are truly fortunate to have a strong community support. And that relationship is important to what I want to talk about tonight. Because when we talk about the fire department, we often talk about our staffing, our apparatus, our station, our equipment, and our ability to respond. But ultimately, the fire department is about people. And tonight, I want to talk about caring for those people. When most people think about the fire service, they picture firefighters responding to structure fires, motor vehicle accidents, medical emergencies, rescues, and any other technical emergency. Those images are accurate, but they only represent part of our profession. Behind every emergency is a human story. Our firefighters routinely encounter people during some of their worst moments of their lives. We comfort grieving families. We treat critically ill children, respond to serious accident, unexpected deaths, suicides, overdoses, fires, traumatic events. We enter homes during moments of tremendous fear, uncertainty, and heartbreak. The emergency may last minutes or hours, but the memory can last a lifetime. The public sees firefighters return to the station, clean the apparatus, replace the equipment, complete reports, and get ready for the next call. What the public does not always see is the emotional weight that can accompany those experiences. For generations, firefighters were expected to move on. There was a perception that talking about difficult experiences and asking for help demonstrated weakness. Fortunately, that culture is changing. We now understand that mental health deserves the same attention and respect as physical health. So the development of our peer support team. Our peer support team was established in about 2016 under the leadership of former Fire Chief Michael Wynn. Chief Wynn recognized that if we expect our firefighters to care for others every day, we also have a responsibility to care for our own members. What began as a small group of dedicated members has developed into a structured, highly trained, and compassionate program. Today, our team includes specialized trained firefighters who understand the unique challenges of emergency services. We are also fortunate to work with members of the clergy and a licensed mental health professional who helps provide additional expertise and support when necessary. Chief Hill and I have both completed the core competency training that serves as the foundation for our peer support team. We remain committed to maintaining and strengthening this program. That means is that we understand what the firefighters go through every day, what it means to their families when they take it home with them. It is important to understand that peer support is not counseling. It is not a replacement for professional mental health care. It's something different. It's firefighters helping firefighters. It's having someone who understands the job, understands the culture, and is willing to sit down and listen. Sometimes the most important thing a firefighter can hear after a difficult call is simply, "You're not alone." Mental health is part of firefighter health. One of the most important lessons we've learned is that emotional injuries deserve the same attention as physical injuries. If a firefighter breaks an arm or tears a tendon or a ligament, we immediately recognize that that person needs medical help and they need time to recover. Mental health injuries are different because they are often invisible. No X-ray shows cumulative stress. No MRI can measure the emotional impact of witnessing tragedy. Yet those experiences affect the firefighter's health, relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being. A physical injury may heal in weeks or months, and an emotional injury can remain with someone for decades if it's not recognized and addressed. The good news is that our profession is making progress. The stigma surrounding mental health is declining. More firefighters are willing to talk about the stress and trauma that they are experiencing. More departments are developing wellness programs, and more fire service leaders understand that caring for our members means caring for the whole person, not simply providing them with good equipment and physical training. We still have work to do, but we're moving in the right direction. Building a culture of support. At COMM, our commitment begins with every firefighter when they join the department. During new hire orientation, every member is introduced to the peer support team and is made aware that these resources are always available. As their careers progress, that awareness grows naturally. Members participate in post-incident diffusings after particularly difficult calls, engage in confidential conversations with peer supporters, and witness firsthand how these interactions help their coworkers process challenging experiences. Over time, trust develops, and the program becomes part of our department's culture rather than simply another initiative. Perhaps the greatest compliment we receive is that when our members are comfortable reaching out before stress becomes a crisis. That is exactly what we hope to achieve. Our goal is to create a culture where asking for help is viewed as a normal part of your care for yourself and your coworkers, not as a sign of weakness. Throughout my career, I've often said that COMM has the best stations, modern equipment, advanced equipment, and outstanding technology. Those resources are important, but none of them are more important than our people. Our firefighters are our greatest asset. If we expect them to be there for this community during someone's worst moments, we have an obligation to be there for them when they need us. Investing in firefighter wellness is not simply the right thing to do, it directly benefits this community. Healthy and supported firefighters make better decisions, they communicate more effectively, they support their coworkers more fully, and they are better prepared to provide the highest level of service to the residents who depend on them. Ultimately, peer support is about taking care of the people who spend their careers taking care of everyone else. As members of this community, you place an incredible amount of trust in your fire department. You expect us to answer every call, solve difficult problems, and be there on someone's worst day. By supporting the mental health and well-being of our firefighters, we ensure that we can continue to meet this expectation, not just today, but for generations to come. I'm extremely proud of what our peer support team has accomplished and of the culture we are continuing to build within COMM Fire. I'm also grateful to this community for supporting not only the services we provide, but the people who provide them. And on a personal level, I am especially grateful to Leah, Jeremy, and Emily. Their unwavering love and support have been a constant throughout my career and throughout our 28 years as a family. I could not be standing here today without them. Thank you again to the Osterville Village Association and the Osterville Village Library for allowing me to speak to you this evening. It's a privilege to serve this community. It's a greater privilege to serve alongside the men and women of the Central Osterville and Marston's Mills Fire Department. Thank you. Any questions about anything at all? Sure.
After every event, is it obligatory that you have a discussion to dissect it and go over it, or is it more on an informal basis?
In terms of the peer support side of things, it really depends on what level of trauma the crews have witnessed. So it's not necessarily every single call, but we certainly have certain triggers. You know, a suicide, something with a pediatric patient, somebody who knows the patient, or another law enforcement or firefighter. So those sort of things automatically trigger us to activate our peer support team. It may not be needed, but we'd rather be ahead of it than catch up later on. And so part of peer support is allowing the crews to decompress after that call. So it varies. The answer varies, and it depends on the crew as well. So, does that answer your question? Sure.
Yes, thank you very much. The fire department certainly is. It lives up to the best expectations.
Thank you.
On a safety matter, there is a telephone pole on Swan Street.
I'm glad.
And I have spoken to our counselor. I've spoken
Leaning
to
tower.
DPW to no avail. Unfortunately, it's not their fault. Is there anything that can be done? Because as a master electrician, I can tell you that 13,000 volts, 25,000 volts, and 6 on top of that is going to kill someone.
Sure.
Can the fire department lobby on behalf of the citizens to get this fixed?
We certainly can. Whether or not I can solve that tonight or tomorrow, probably not. But I can certainly, the chief and I can certainly make some phone calls if we can expedite that repair.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Are all the firefighters EMTs also?
At the minimum, yes. So right now we have about a 60-40 split. 40% of our staff are EMTs, 60% are paramedics. So the paramedic level is higher than EMT.
60% of paramedics.
60% are paramedics. And so we're about to hire 16 new firefighters, and we're going to maintain that ratio within the 16. So it's roughly 10 paramedics and 6 EMTs.
They have to have their qualifications before they apply, or can they apply and then you have to
Typically,
do the work?
Typically, they have those certifications prior to the hiring. It's very difficult to go through. It's not possible, but it's difficult. There's a lot of time that goes into earning your paramedic certificate. So we prefer to have them start at that level if we're going to hire them as a paramedic.
Maybe crazy, but a lot of us see so many ambulances around. Is your call ratio up for medical calls?
Yeah, so we do about 80%, 85% medical. And yes, our call volumes rise every single year. And so that was another part of our initiative, was preparing to build our staffing to be better prepared for the increase in calls. So, I mean, that's not just at COMM, that's the Chief Harrington and I were talking about sandwiches. is busy. Yarmouth, every town is increasing with their calls. So yes. Sure.
You think that that's because of the aging population, because the population?
That's a good question. From the demographics, I'd have to look into it, but I would say no, because we respond to medical calls, all different generations and demographics. So it's just people call for service more often.
You mentioned that you're increasing by 16 firefighters.
Yes, sir.
So if you're not in an administration room, how do you arrive at that formula? To increase 16?
What we're trying to do, it's a good question. What we're trying to do is have 2 crews out of our headquarters station. And so to do that, we need more staff. And so what that will allow is an engine, an ALS engine, advanced life support engine, to be fully staffed at all times. So it's a method for us to always be ready to go for the next call. Good question. Leah?
Explain, maybe the senior safe.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So we have a fire prevention bureau, that's Tim Booth and Tom DeGrand. And part of our community outreach is we offer what's called a senior safe program. And that's the folks who are 65 years and older. Our fire prevention officers will come out and have a couple of visits, spring and fall typically, to ensure that smoke detectors are working. There's carbon monoxide protection. We look at trip hazards, ways to help with trips and falls or slips and falls inside the home. And generally anything that's a safety part of reducing risk to our population, we'll go out there and make some recommendations. We change batteries. Well, often folks will have smoke detectors in cathedral ceilings, and we'll go out there and change them. So it's better for us to go up on a ladder than some of our residents, if that makes sense. So we're not trying to really generate more calls. We're trying to protect you all. So that's available. You just have to come into our headquarters station and talk to Nicola, and she can make the arrangement for us to come out and take a look for it. Sir.
Mr. Rogers, I have a comment and a question. Your role and work is a testimony to sacrifice, dedication. And when you're called on duty to sort of secure up your life, you go beyond the action to save the soul of trouble. And the question I have is, how often do you use cup of seed in the building region? I understand each and every fire engine has a cup of seed in the building. Monitor, and you normally use on every firefighter who's been actively involved in extinguishing fire.
We don't on every firefighter, but we do monitor the environment. So after a fire, and there's carbon monoxide and lots of other dangerous gases. So when we're actively fighting the fire, and shortly thereafter, we're on our SCBA. So we're breathing air from the tank. And then after, during what's called the overhaul process, we'll monitor the environment before anybody takes off their respirator. So from a safety standpoint, we're always supposed to be breathing through our SCBA rather than taking your gear off. That used to be, it's hot after the fire, you go out, the pack gets heavy, you put it in the front yard, and then go in to the home and everything is still off gassing, especially with the plastics and the what materials are made of these days. Everything's producing hydrocarbons and so other gases that are dangerous for us. So do we typically do it? We don't. If somebody, shows signs and symptoms of like CO poisoning, then we will. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question though. Chief.
Can you mention how many calls a day you're doing now?
17, 18 on average. Yeah. Some days, it used to be basically from June, July to October. We would do twice as many calls per month as in the off season, but we're doing about 17 or 18 every day. Some days are not so much, and some nights we do, or some days we do more than 20, 25, 30.
This group has been very worried about the massive transformers. up on the highway from the cables and so on and so forth. Have you people been doing anything, in preparation for that, or learning more about transformer fires, chemical, also related chemical fires?
To a degree, yes, and to a degree, no. We have had some training opportunities, and many of those systems have lots of controls throughout the system, and so we rely on the parent company, whoever that is, to shut it off before we get there. I mean, our job is to protect exposures at that point and prevent it from getting worse. So I don't have an intricate knowledge of those systems. I have some basic safety understandings.
There's no ongoing learning process presently in anticipation
Not at
of
the
that
moment.
kind of a problem.
Not at the moment. We have a basic understanding of it, and that's where we are right now.
Okay, you guys change your, and when you, like, I'm not afraid of them, do this, I think it's better made.
You're talking about our fire protection gear? And so that's a good question. There's a standard, national standard that requires us to replace them every 10 years. Obviously, if somebody's gear is damaged before that, we're going to assess it, send it out for an inspection, whether it needs repairs or replacement. We also have extractors in every station. So after a fire, our firefighters wash their gear in what's called an extractor. It's a washing machine for firefighting gear. And that does pull out a lot of the bad stuff that we're exposed to. Doesn't get everything, but it gets a lot.
Are they getting better though?
They are, yes.
I had
And
a brother that,
I'm sorry.
He was at
Sorry to hear that. Recently, we purchased what's called PFAS-free gear for every firefighter. So their primary set of gear is the newest model, the newest version that's held to these standards. So every firefighter has that for that exact reason. We're trying to limit our exposures, and the fire gear in the past obviously had exposures in it, so, or carcinogens. So we're trying to recognize that. We also have other initiatives to wash our gear. It's called gross decon after a fire. We wipe down certain parts of our body where the exposures tend to cause cancer, targeted cancer, so neck, face, groin, armpits. So we do that. We had a fire a couple of weeks ago in Osterville, and I was very proud to see the crews taking that initiative. When they get back to the station, they immediately shower. We clean our gear, we clean our bodies, we clean our tools. So we're doing the best that we possibly can, but I appreciate that question.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Deputy, for a great presentation. You're welcome. It's amazing what you guys do.
Yeah.
As far as the extent.
Yes, I believe so.
I'm glad you could come in. So, thank you. Thank you very much. Excuse me. Under old business, our next speaker is very well known and continues to be the brilliant, well-spoken leader of Safe Grade of Dowses Beach. Suzanne's tireless commitment to this fight is unmatched and historic. Please welcome Susanne Conley.
Thanks. Deputy Chief, I want to personally thank you for saving my dear husband's life a few years ago. He might pass out again if he finds out I called him my dear husband.
Well, let's not have that.
Yeah. I really knows him well. Hi, everyone. I have a really loud voice, so I'll try not to shout into the microphone. I am privileged to work with a lot of people, Stacy Gunther, Hector Gunther, who else is here from our group? Oh, Ann Peters, Dr. Emily McClure. We formed Safe Greater Dowses Beach. We formed 4 years ago. We're coming up to our 4th anniversary. Hector, I mentioned you, right? Yes, and Pete Hansen is part of our group. 4 years ago in late August in 2022, and we've been hard at work ever since. And the reason we formed was we found out what Avangrid Renewables, an offshore wind company, was planning to do at Dowses Beach. We told someone today, our very first concern was for all the wildlife, the birds, the sea life, just the beautiful place we call Dowses Beach. Over time, we have developed opposition to plans to land 7 400 megawatt offshore cables on the recreational beaches of Barnstable. And I've put up a little PowerPoint, and I'm going to go over each of the projects to give you guys an update. What's going on? Where are they? And this is from our perspective, not Avangrid's perspective. They don't talk with us anymore. They don't like us, which is fine with us. But the first project is Vineyard Wind, and the town council was happy to have them here because they made an agreement with them. They're going to pay property taxes. They're going to give millions of dollars over time and help the town with, the sewer construction work. And to tell you the truth, and we just talked about this today, we're not sure that the folks in charge understood the implications of saying, come to Cobbles Beach. So what our group has been doing is monitoring a couple of things happening at Cobbles Beach. There are 2 cables installed there now under the sand, and they come up in the parking lot in 4 very large splicing vaults. We believe it is inappropriate to have 2 400 megawatt splicing vaults in a parking lot at a recreational beach. We just feel that's the way we feel. And one of the things we've discovered, this little graphic should show you, is that the electromagnetic field emanating from those cables is far, far, far greater than what Vineyard Wind told the state's Energy Facilities Siting Board it would be. And if you want more information about this, you could go to our Facebook page, which is just Save Greater Dowses Beach. Vineyard Wind told the EFSB that they went and they studied the EMF, and they said it's 30 milligauss. And that's what it is at the splicing vault. Well, there were 3 turbines turning at the time. They weren't all built. There are 62 out there now that are all built. And everything's fine, 30 milligauss, everybody can live with that. Even though sitting in this room, I can tell you without a doubt, we have an electrician in the audience. If I had my EMF meter here, it would probably read anywhere between 1.5 to 3 milligauss because of all the electricity around us. So you go to one of those splicing vaults and you stand there, you hold your EMF meter, and it's showing 292 milligauss, which is far greater than what they said it would be. So we caused pretty much a stink about this with the town council, but then we went to the Board of Health, the Barnstable Board of Health, and they listened to us. They took us very seriously, and they are concerned. They understand now that the just sitting, having your lunch parked over one of these splicing vaults may not be the healthiest thing in the world to do. And not only is the parking lot affected, 5.3 miles of duct bank constructed from Cobbles Beach to Independence Drive. So what we do is every single weekend, we all take turns, we're all trained with our EMF meters. We go over the duct bank, and if you're riding along Craigville Beach Road, before you get to the duct bank, your EMF meter will say 1.5, 2, it might say mixed because it's picking up the RF EMF from the cell phone tower in Centerville. But suddenly you're over the duct bank and zoom, up it goes, right? 170, 180, 90, like that, all the way. Now this duct bank makes its way through residential neighborhoods. People bought homes a long time ago. They didn't buy them next to extra high voltage infrastructure. And many of these folks don't even know that there's extra high voltage infrastructure right in front of their yard. Okay, so we find that to be a real issue. And what we're hoping, what I've heard is that Tom Keene, who's the director of health for Barnstable, is going to ask the Energy Facility Siting Board to step in and take a look. And that's all we're asking for. We want you to take a look. And we also want you, the EFSB, to reconsider allowing 2 more of these cables to go to the next project. Oh, by the way, this might be interesting to you, Deputy Chief. This winter, we went over there after the first snowstorm, and I bought some thermal imaging equipment. And you can see the only place there was no snow was over the splicing vaults and the duct bank route. in the parking lot, okay? Because the heat emanating from these things is massive, it's huge. COMM Water, and of course, Pete's a commissioner, COMM Water has taken a look at, you're putting all this infrastructure right next to our drinking water supply system. And I think I worry most, and Dr. Emily McClure has expertise in this area. I worry about the feeder lines that go to homes, right? You're having all that heat, it's only got one place to go, it's into the ground near the water supply system and the feeder lines that go to our homes. You're talking, I shouldn't say this, but I worry about things like Legionella. Imagine coming back from Florida and just opening the tap and using the water, right? It's been sitting there getting heated up all winter. So there are issues with what we call onshore impacts of offshore wind. And I think that this entire industry should have planned things a lot better, or maybe not at all, quite frankly. I actually tell people that I think the energy policy in the state needs a massive reset. We're not against electricity. We know we all need it. I like reading about like small modular reactors, for example, that are much safer than the old way nuclear used to be done. But anyway, that's another story. How do I forward this, Cindy?
The arrow, the down arrow.
Arrow? Where are the arrows, Cindy? I'm sorry. Okay, great, awesome. This is Coble's Beach under construction. Sometimes people say, what are you, kvetching about? It's just two wires under the sand. This is what it looked like at Coble's Beach for 3 years. Okay, this is what they want to do to Dowses. But at Dowses, they want to put 3 of these things. Okay, there were 2 at Coble's. They want 2 more at Craigville. They want 3 at Dowses. New England Wind 1 and oh, by the way, they change the names on these things all the time. So it's either New England Wind 1 or Park City Wind. Either it's the same project. They want to put 2 at Coble's, I'm sorry, Craigville Beach. And they were supposed to start this fall. They decided they couldn't start this fall for reasons unknown. And we just found this out a few weeks ago. The town attorney went before town council and said, back in September, we said to Avangrid Renewables, planning to build New England Wind 1 and start in the fall, that per our agreement, you have to pay us the $2.4 million. You agreed to pay us if we adjusted the construction of the sort of North Centerville sewer project. They had to make it much deeper to accommodate 2 cables coming off of Craigville Beach, which, by the way, they want to run right through historic Centerville Village, which I think is just horrendous. Just when I think about that, I can't believe they want to do that, but they do. And the Avangrid said, no, we're not paying you. So this dragged on apparently all winter. No one in the public knew about it, which I'm going to speak to the town, and I'm going to go before town council and say, look, if you guys are dealing with these folks, I think the public should be aware, just like COMM has all their discussions with Avangrid in public. There's nothing behind the scenes, no secret, oh, let's talk about this. Well, in May, they actually got together in a mediation type of setting with Avangrid to try to get this $2.4 million that they promised out of them, and they walked up. So they still owe the town $2.4 million. They will not meet their construction deadline of fall. And to make matters worse, the easement, you all know about Article 97. It's a part of the Massachusetts Constitution, and it protects public lands from what is called alternative use. If there's a parcel of land that is used for fishing, recreation, or farming, and it's protected under Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution, it cannot be used for alternative use. Well, in their wisdom, town council caved to Avangrid and signed an easement for them to use Craigville Beach. But part of the agreement was if you don't start construction by fall 26, the easement expires on December 15th, 2026. Avangrid would have to go back to square one in terms of getting this easement to do what they want to do in Barnstable at the second beach they want. The Senate in Massachusetts, that is very partisan to all these offshore wind projects, we all think differently, I guess. They have a new energy bill coming out. There's an energy bill every 3 months, it seems lately. And in the Senate version of the bill, Section 88 says that all permits and easements granted to renewable energy projects will be automatically extended for 4 years. You know who they're waiting to be out of office, right? But that's their plan. So Barnstable would lose its property rights. And this is what the town attorney actually said in front of town council. They are sealing our property rights. So she's pretty angry about it. We're pretty angry about it, and we've been very vocal. And if you follow us on Facebook, you know about this move by the Senate. The House bill does not have that in it, and they sent it to conference committee right now. So that's where it is, and we're still fighting it. But if that passes, and we hope it does not, that'll really handcuff Barnstable from in terms of protecting itself. And I will tell you that the sentiment in town hall is really turned. They're not too happy about reneging on a payment promise. So that's where that project stands. And then our beautiful Dowses Beach. I can't imagine seeing 3 years of construction at that incredibly beautiful place that we all love so much. We were in the Osterville Village Parade recently. I just love this picture. Those little kids got in the back of Pete's truck. They all held signs. Your 2 grandchildren were there, your 2 grandchildren were there, and others. And as we drove through the center, they were all yelling in unison, "Save our beach, save our beach." And that's why we're fighting right there. So that picture to me is so emblematic. My grandchildren have grown up on Dowses. They love Dowses so much. It's our recreation. It's our solitude in the winter. It is just the most special place, I think, in all of Barnstable. And I really think we have to continue to fight to protect it. It's not an easy fight. It really isn't. Sierra Club came out with an angry letter, told the Board of Health to pay no attention to us. We don't know what we're talking about, right? So we went back and forth with Sierra Club, and we let them have it a little bit. You know, I'm constantly writing to legislators. What did I do today? Who did I write to today? I forgot. It was on the Facebook page anyway. Oh, Vineyard Wind actually wrote a really they were upset with us going to the Board of Health, and they wrote this long thing, and I responded to it. So if you're interested in seeing my sarcastic responses, please go to our Facebook page. It's very well populated. I had a post that just got I just looked today, it's got over 12,000 views. I heard Nantucket Current did a survey of Nantucket residents. Are you for or against more offshore wind? 90% were against it. And I told our lobbyists, we have a lobbyist in Washington. He's one guy, he works as hard as he possibly can. But I told him, I think on Cape Cod, at this point, it's an 8-2 issue. And a lot of people, you know, we have to save the planet. Even though BOEM, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, has published a statement that says all of the 50 ocean wind farms the Biden administration planned would do nothing to mitigate climate change, nothing. So we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing it this way? Why this way? Yes, we need to upgrade the grid. We need to make sure we have enough power to fuel our home, to electrify everything that's being electrified and warm our homes in the winter. One of the claims made by the current administration in the state was that they saved us during the blizzard. Less than 1% of the power in New England came from Vineyard Wind. And it's just, you know, so you make these claims that they're saving us, they're not, they're really not. I have a good friend, you may know him, he's Captain Tyler McAllister. He's famous from harpoon hunters on the Discovery Channel. And he goes out there fishing all the time, and he lets me know how many are turning. 2 days in a row, 0 turbines out there turning, 0. We still go to the splicing vaults and get really high readings. We don't know how high they're going to get if they ever get up to about 50% capacity. That's called operational capacity. But we expect those numbers to go even higher. So I don't know if I have anything else. Okay, so I talked about the legislature. Okay, so the Trump administration has canceled some leases, bought off a bunch of projects, but nothing has happened related to Avangrid's projects off the coast of Massachusetts. I'm sorry to say. And I keep calling the White House every day just about, and I think they think I'm crazy. I'm just kidding. I don't call every day, but I have called and written, please help us. Avangrid shows no signs of abandoning their plans for Barnstable. Barnstable is ground zero for onshore cable landings. No other municipality in the entire nation is facing what Barnstable facing. When you think of it that way, you wonder how this got so out of hand. And I will say that a lot of the permitting authority has been stripped of cities and towns across the state by the new renewable energy siting and permitting bill that came through, has fast tracked it. And what they've said to the towns and cities, if you don't approve this renewable energy project, which means offshore wind, large solar arrays, and battery storage, if you don't do your approvals within 15 months, if you say no, we'll just say yes. Ooh, did I do that? Sorry. So the permitting authority is being stripped from cities and towns. So we really have a fight on our hands, and we're not going to give up. We are all still as dedicated as ever, and we'll stand on the sand at Dowses Beach and prevent their trucks from entering. That's how I feel. So anyway, they want to dig up the causeway 9 feet down and put a massive depth bank in the causeway. You know how narrow that causeway is. What a ridiculous idea. It violates every coastal zone regulation there is, every Clean Water Act regulation there is. They want to put 3 massive substations on top of wellhead protection zones. That's why the question from the good doctor, using 500,000 gallons of dielectric oil, which is a very toxic and dangerous substance. So it's a fight worth having, I think, for the birds, for our health, for our children and grandchildren. So if you can help us at all, support us, we'd appreciate it, and we'll be here. Any questions? No?
Susanne,
Yeah.
just a quick question on the, for lack of the right term, the electromagnetic fields that are coming off the roadway that you said. How expansive are those? Like, do they spread out 30 feet, 50 feet? Like, and also the second part of the question is, coming up the beach where the cables are under the sand, are you also seeing like people laying on this all day long?
Well, what we found is that the EMF, and what we're talking about is not the kind of EMF that comes off of cell towers or cell phones. It comes off of power lines only. It's called ELF EMF, extra low frequency. What we've discovered is that the sand, it's elevated, a couple milligauss on the sand. So it's not necessarily the sand that's the problem. And that's why we did the study. Where is the problem? So like right down by the shoreline, you can't even detect it. Middle of the beach, you start detecting it. At the edge of the beach in the parking lot, it starts rising. In the middle of the parking lot, it's really elevated. But when you get over to the splicing vaults, what happens is these cables are massive and they splice them into 3 smaller cables. And then they join them all up in a duct bank, which carries 6 cables, right? 6 smaller cables. And it's after that that the levels are very, very high. Too high. Now, Dr. McClure, she gets very passionate about this. There's an international organization, it's called the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, and they set a standard of 2,000 milligauss should be where we start worrying about human health and safety. But they set it for industry workers experiencing things like a transformer blowing up, which would cause a massive blast of EMF, right? And that standard was set quite a few years ago, and starting in 2017, another group formed that questioned them and said, this is way too high. At the very least, you should lower it to 200 milligauss and prevent people from being exposed to 200 milligauss. So our meters, when they came, for example, they have a card with them that says, 1 to 5, fine, 5 to 10, elevated, but it says 200 milligauss, leave the area. Well, if you go over to Coble's Beach and you're reading 292 and you're watching someone sit right over a splicing vault and have their lunch, so hope you like fried food, it's just, you want to tell them to leave. It's just not healthy, not healthy. And we don't really know. Emily will tell you it's definitely the link between childhood leukemia and high EMF is absolutely there. And other disorders that have to do with cellular disruption, the mechanisms that govern our cells functioning. The evidence is growing year by year that we really must pay attention to EMF. So in Europe, they tend to take these cables and put them at military bases or industrial areas. And here they let them do whatever they wanted. And Osterville Renewables saw 3 beautiful beaches. They use what's called HVAC, so they can't go as far as a company that's using HVDC cabling. So, oh, well, that's really close. Let's stick them right up 3 recreational beaches. And it's just been poorly planned in our opinion. That's our opinion. And that's why we fight. So, yes.
Do you have any projection as to when construction will start on Dowses Street? Does anyone?
No, because that's New England Wind 2. They can't even get going on New England Wind 1. But
Right?
that Craigville is New England Wind 1, Park City Wind, same thing.
Yeah.
But we have assumed that if New England Wind 1 does not get built, New England Wind 2 will not get built either. Our Cape and Island Senator Julian Sear recently said he's incredibly dismayed by the fact that these projects aren't getting built. A couple of years ago, he was telling people, oh, don't worry about Dowses. I think that was his way of just shutting us up. But now he's come out and said he's disappointed that these two projects are not being fast tracked. And he's really behind a lot of these attempts of the state. The state of Massachusetts is trying, they're trying to backfill all the lost tax credits. The Trump administration killed all the tax credits for these projects. They lost them on July 4th. Happy 4th, right? And but Massachusetts just passed a bill that gives them a ton of tax credits, $300 million of incentive in cash. They're ready to spend billions of dollars to make sure these projects are built. So there are folks up on Beacon Hill who are so 100% determined to make these projects happen, as they are as determined to make them happen as we are to stop them. So, and when I ask people on Facebook, oh, please write, boy, did people write. I mean, people really respond, and that's the best way to help us, to flood the legislators with your opposition. Let them know how we feel about this. This is so wrong. If you want to do this, we can't stop you from doing this, quite frankly, knowing everything I know. I don't think we should be industrializing the ocean south of the islands like this. And we saw all that in July of 24. How damaging this could be. There are a couple of big storms headed our way, and I pray that more of these blades don't shatter and fall into the ocean, because we'd be forever picking up the pieces. We still are. People are still finding pieces that each blade weighs 70 tons, 70. And that's what fell into the ocean in July 24. Yes.
Can you update us about the dispute with General Electric?
Oh, GE Vernova is their main contractor. This is Vineyard Wind, and GE Vernova was the company that built these things for them. They just managed the project, and they refused to pay GE Vernova on the pay schedule that they had established via contract. And I said today, Vineyard Wind is 6 months behind in the rent of their corporate offices in Boston at the Hancock, and they won't pay their main contractor. And now New England Wind 1 won't pay the town the $2.4 million. So I'm seeing a pattern here. They might be really struggling financially, which, that they could fall under their own weight. But GE Vernova is still in court. So Vineyard Wind sued GE Vernova, said, we're walking. You're not paying us. You owe us so many millions, and you're not giving us a dime for all this work. And Vineyard Wind sued them to force them to stay. And the Vineyard Wind friendly judge told GE Vernova they have to stay on the job and keep working. But the funny thing about that lawsuit was it provided an unbelievable window to us. In their filing, they said the turbines half of them don't work, and the blades are still messed up, and the cabling between the turbines trip all the time, and the electricity shuts off, and they listed all these issues with the project, and I'm like, ooh, we didn't know any of that, so thanks for your filings, but it's still in court. I look at the docket. You can look up the docket every single day. I do almost every day to see if there's any difference, but the judge has so far ruled in favor of Vineyard Wind, forcing GE Vernova to stay on the job. I don't know how he can do that when a company says, we're done with you, you're not paying us. And so, of course, Vineyard Wind's made the claim that you owe us money, but whatever. Anyway, it's crazy. Yes.
Do we have any names of those who placed the extensions on the possibility of extending the right to continue the projects?
Michael Barrett. Michael Barrett is in the Senate. Michael Barrett is the guy who is pushing net zero mandates in Massachusetts. And he is the chief cheerleader for offshore wind. So. Michael Barrett, you know what? He was a representative and a senator. He's represented 4 different districts in Massachusetts. I wish I could remember offhand. All I know is his name, but it's Barrett. And he is on this so-called conference committee to try to hash out between the House bill and the Senate bill. We did write to Kip Diggs, and he said, oh, that's not in the House one. Yeah, we know that. We just need your advocacy to tell, you're representing us, and we don't want them to agree to this Section 88, the Senate version. Rep X is really great. He's on top of things. Stacy, were you able to ask him if it was sent to study or conference committee? Oh, you sent him a text. Okay. I think he told Stacy it's been sent to study. I worked for the state for 20 years, so I know when they send a bill to study, they're sending it to die in darkness. If it goes to conference committee, they're working it out between representatives and senators. So we have to find out, what's the case. If you sent it to study, we're happy because the thing will die. But the governor just came out last week or the week before and said, we need to pass this bill as soon as possible. So we don't know. We're on top of it. We're finding out. So, yes.
A couple years ago, we had one of the different meetings.
What? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, they're really not around anymore. They won't talk to our group, that's for sure. In fact, when Vineyard Wind wrote this kind of nasty response to our presentation of the Board of Health, one of my responses was, why didn't you talk to us? They claim that they have a great relationship with the community. You knew we were concerned about this EMF, these EMF levels. They're crazy, they're out of control, but you didn't come and talk to us, so don't tell us you have a great relationship with the community. They don't hold those meetings anymore, but I don't know if you recall, but they would have meetings here and also in Centerville, and they would just take punch after punch to the teeth, so they just abandoned that whole thing. So I think they've really closed ranks, and they're just going to try to, force these projects on this town. So, yes.
I have a comment and suggestion.
Okay.
Comment is that the state government we seriously need to realize during the summer months, the population in Cape Cod is 1,000-fold.
Yeah.
If, for example,
I'm sure Deputy Chief knows that.
if the project is done, the visitors are totally unknown, the implications of the high voltage electromagnetic radiation.
Right.
And God knows what will happen next. So my suggestion is that if, as a group, we sort of format a letter, circulate among all the residents of Osterville County, and send an attachment by email to our representatives at very specific state house. Preferably, if you dispatch the email during the weekend, they'll be able to read. Right now, they're very busy in passing the bill.
Yeah.
And other thing in our favor is that the election year is getting closer. They'll be more than likely to listen to our serious concern which you have.
Yeah, it's a great idea. A mass mailing is way beyond our financial ability. We have looked into that, but we do email legislators and senators and the entire legislature all the time. And we do radio. We do as much as possible. Breaking through to mainstream media has been difficult, quite frankly. I think they're afraid of us, of following our story. But we're really trying to get the word out. And I think the legislators, one of the things I just wrote, and it's on our Facebook page, is you should not be supporting a foreign-owned corporation before the residents of Massachusetts and the residents of Barnstable. This company, by the way, is an LLC. Avangrid Renewables is owned by Avangrid, which is owned by Iberdrola, which is a Spanish-owned, huge European energy company. And they will be reaping all the profits. So, that's what my statement was. We are the people. We elect you, and you need to be thinking about us and what we want. So it's a good point, Hannah. Thank you.
So, are you able to sort of gather up one of the distinguished people, let's say 5, make an appointment to see chairman of the Department of Public Health and State Government, number one, and the representative office, the staff person, and also the representative to Julian Sear and others.
Yeah, we've reached out to all the state representatives, senators, and federal. Captain McAllister, by the way, is running for Congress, I should say that. And he is absolutely, he's a scientist. He does DNA analysis of the water out by the farms. What he's coming up with is it's a dead zone. Generations of bonefish and mollusks have been completely wiped out where Vineyard Wind was constructed. And he's really motivated to run for Congress because of how he feels about these offshore wind farms. And he really studies Vineyard Wind. So yeah, we have contact with all those folks. We're so active, honey. It's just, you know, we never rest. We don't. Can't you see the dark circles under the eyes? All of us, we work so hard. But anyway, I guess that's it.
Thank you, Suzanne, for everything that you do.
Sure, all of us. There's so many of us that work on this.
You're the leader and you've taken this on, so thank you. Thank you again. Under new business, the OBA board members were all elected to 3-year terms. And Mark Curley earlier this month contacted the members that are up for the 3-year nominations, including Richard Coleman, John Crow, Al Mackey, Mike Tolman, and Heather Hunt, to be elected as directors for 3-year terms. They've all agreed to do another 3 years. So could I get a motion to elect these people for another 3 years? Second. All those in favor? Great, thank you very much. The next item is the Osterville Playground. It's not a mirage, it's actually happening now. After 16 years, it's excavators, they took trees down. It's like I went by and had to do a double take. It's like, oh my God. So thanks for everyone for the persistence to get that done. We don't have a completion date, but the fact that it's underway, it's great. I encourage people to bring their grandkids to look at the machines and look all the work being done. So that's a huge progress report. I was going to get an update from Griffin Bowden, who was out sick. So the next meeting we'll have a schedule in terms of what's going to happen up there for sequence of events to be completed. And see, under new business, Dr. Vyas, I don't know if you want to say a few words regarding the fresh water or the water at system. I'm Dr. Vyas. Just to introduce myself, in short, I represent Barnstable County as far as executive officer to Master's and Geology on governance. So I'm quite active at the state level. Number two, I'm a delegate to Mass Medical Society as a committee member for occupational and environmental health. And as my 2 years experience working as a volunteer, I sort of came up for a plan to set up a refrigerated water cooler and a bottle dispenser in beaches like Dowses, Conley, and Conley beaches, so we can focus on Barnstable town first. And if it gets more popular, then it can be spread out to the rest of the Barnstable County from all the beaches comprising in Barnstable County. And the main purpose to provide free potable water refrigerated is to primarily to prevent dehydration, especially among the elderly and children. And secondly, there'll be a drastic reduction in the use of plastic bottles. So this will be an incentive for a family or couples visiting the beaches. They'll bring their own
recyclable water cooler and fill the water from there. And I'm gonna get more data next month. We don't have time today to discuss any further. But I'll be more than happy to sort of give you more information on our next meeting in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
You're gonna move into.
Move into public comment. We heard an awful lot today. I want to thank the speakers again. Deputy and Suzanne and Doctor. Any public comment? It's gotta be something out there. Bob, good question.
Bob, I forgot to mention you, I'm sorry.
I actually put a call into, Martinetti today. It didn't get back to me, but from my recollection before, from their last presentation early this summer, I'm gonna say the end of October and into November. But I will get for the next meeting, I'll have a schedule on that also. A great question.
Speed bumps,
Speed bumps. No, that's
same problem,
what's that, Clark?
sort of on the same problem. Getting these speed bumps under.
It's on the schedule, I do know that. And I said the last time, I'm gonna say after Columbus Day was the information I got, but when I get a call back from him, I'll let you know.
Crosswalks are these people.
Yeah, they are the speed bumps, saying. So it's gonna be decorative crosswalks and then there's gonna be actual raised crosswalks.
Those two go together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's four,
They build enough for $250,000 a piece, so that it can be flat and slow trucks.
they go really fast, you can catch air. Anyone else for public comment? Yes, come forward.
Good evening, everybody. Stacy invited me to come talk to you tonight. I appreciate your words on the wellness fair.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Great stuff. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Frank Frederickson. I am your delegate for the Assembly of Delegates and represent Constable. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing there, but it's doing all right. And Susan, can you put your meter in this room? I think Armageddon might have run a table under here. It's so hot. But I just want to let you know who I am. I'm not over in Osterville too much unless I gotta buy my son a pizza at Chris. I am retired Yarmouth Police Chief. Worked there for 43 years. I know a few attorneys who took me to court a few times. But, it's all good. It's all good. So currently, I am the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Massachusetts Fraternal Order of Police. I'm also the Executive Director for the New England Chiefs of Police Association. I sit on a couple of boards, NAMI, Cape Cod. I know it's ironic that I wore this shirt today, the NAMI shirt. We won the golf tournament over here. And also a board of directors for the Quell Foundation. We do a lot with first responders. So I'm just letting you know who I am. Hopefully you need to take a look at me. I wrote this beautiful brochure with my limited computer skills. And you can find out a little bit more about me. And I appreciate your time, and I know you had a long night, so thank you.
Yes, Arthur.
Another topic that we've heard some talk about around town is the Osterville Bridge.
Yes.
And, when are we gonna build a new bridge? There's been several episodes already where it won't open, and they claim it's too hot. And, the bridge is stuck. What's gonna happen when it's stuck open?
Which that has happened before, a couple of years ago. I don't know anything about that as far as any schedule or any update. I can find out, or I can talk to John and find out.
I mean, is the town looked into that? I mean, that'd be the question, is the town at all concerned about it, look into it?
I thought there was money put aside. I thought there was money put aside a while ago to do repairs on that. It was kind of, I mean, they're kind of Band-Aids, but there's, I don't know where that stands right now. I don't know if they.
You should have Griffin Code come back, meeting in your future, update us on these various matters.
Great idea. I'll try to even have them come in September or the September meeting to do that. Great idea.
Speaking of that.
He- no.
Change the meeting date.
Just regarding the next meeting, September, it's gonna be September 8th, 6 o'clock, upstairs, hopefully. So just, it's not gonna be the first, it's gonna be the next meeting. Any other public comment? Yes, somebody.
I record every meeting that happens here, so all these things have been talked about, the crosswalks, the pictures, the story, the playground, all that's been
Bridge.
recorded, the bridge, all that stuff has been recorded as part of the meetings here. So if you're not here and you want to see any of this stuff, if you go to the Osterville Village Library website and our YouTube channel, we have like over 430 subscribers. All the videos are up there under Osterville Village Town Information. I usually list what the topics are talked about. And you can find all that information along with on Osterville Village. You will see the whole COMM commemorative 100th anniversary ceremony, along with the amazing video that they did that highlighted their 100 years. So there's a lot of very good information there that I usually get up within a few days, but everything's right there, ostervillevillage.com or ostervillevillagelibrary.com or YouTube channel.
Yeah, thank you very much for the job that you've done putting all that, the website together, so appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment? Get a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.